This poem is called We Breathe. Lola lifts murmurs out of morning breath, breathes out her skeleton from her leather voice, stiff, yes, but smooth also, because isn't this how you wake? Waiting to pick up the body from sleep, Lola sifts through the hallways of her house to go leave for mass. She asks if I too want to wake up at 7:30, and maybe I'm only half whole, stopped going to church years ago. So now, Lola leaves alone half-mast, because I caught myself from asking her to stay home because sometimes carry a tethered breath, because maybe it's always been like this, lying in wait, because rates of anti-Asian hate crimes are up 164% since a year ago, since they rose by 283% in San Leandro, and since yesterday. An 80-year-old Asian man was attacked there by a group of black and brown boys, bearing one who held 1 year more than me and another holding one more than my little sister. They were 11 and 17. Sit and watch it all happen through a screen dim lit and heavy, the one I hold in my hands, who cradle so many names until they drip down to dirt, and so I try to dig out the dogma that seeps through the bone marrow of our blood. Which is another way of saying I'm pissed. Which is another way of saying violence between communities of color didn't begin with this, didn't begin when Peter Liang, a Chinese-American NYPD cop, shot a Kai Gurley, a 28-year-old black American. Or when Vilma Carey, a Filipina-American, was walking near Times Square and was attacked by Brandon Elliott, and the security guards watching it happen from inside the lobby chose to close the door. And isn't that another form of violence? The way we wedge our bodies inside our own diaphragm so we can curl our shoulders in, look down, so we don't have to call the blood our own or our fault, because we didn't breathe the same air as that person did, like we didn't carry a weapon in our mouths, tuck it in and strategically whistle it out through a spit of tweets, convince communities to call their neighbors other, call them contagious, call country and continent a disease, paint a red X across each other's backbones and ask ourselves how it got there. America, my immunocompromised country, the way you cough out bloodstained anatomy pointing to each mouth, body, and look, see where it all leads. How you are both the soil in my Lola's garden. The soil she sows seeds in, but also the dirt resting 6 feet under that buries black and brown bodies. How you hold them in your roots, the ones that wound themselves through the branches of arms and legs until they decompose and become the foundation for what you grow. When I say our histories are intertwined, what I mean is that we breathe the same air. The kind that country claiming other country left, the kind white supremacy left, but also the kind that circulated the Philippine-American War in 1899 when black American soldiers chose to fight alongside Filipinos. The kind that uproots colonialism through collective activism, the kind that called out for ethnic studies in 1965 during the Third World Liberation strikes. How the work isn't finished yet. How we go to the streets when one of us falls. How we hold ourselves gently, but also hold ourselves accountable and do the same for those around us. Which is another way of saying this country needs to call itself out and call itself in, because country means breathing in unison, or at least being willing to share the same breath, to breathe the same air, placing our hand to chest and belly, bringing in the space we cleave to keep each other away, the space that typed in otherness instead of our names. So instead of that, I pay homage to the names of Black and Asian American activists and organizers, to Audre Lorde, Grace Lee Boggs, Fran Beal, Gwen Patton, Yuri Kochiyama, Loretta Ross, Pat Sumi, Miriam Ching-Yun Louie. Pay homage to my teachers and bus drivers and healthcare workers like my mom, to how we keep each other safe. The Isang Bagsak we clap to cradle our singular exhale in, the United Farm Workers Union of Filipino and Mexican immigrants passing on this singular breath, still breathing, still alive, still Lola waking up in the morning. Still her body aching and tired, still our bodies aching and tired, but what is work without movement, if not the willingness to catch and receive and pass on this breath, if not us breathing ourselves in like instinct. Thank you.